Hey guys, this is the Iron Mobility Fitness channel. My name is Hallie and this is Introduction to Kettlebells. So this class is basically like a tutorial on how to use your kettlebell efficiently and safely. We're going to be taking you through some basics, how to hold the kettlebell in different positions, how to deadlift, how to clean the kettlebell, the rack position. So just the overall basics to get you started with your kettlebell so you can move efficiently and safely with your bell. Now all you're going to need is one small, relatively lightweight kettlebell. I have for today, I'm going to use a 10 kilogram. You can even go smaller than that. I want you to feel confident with the weight and not have to worry about it being heavy today. All right, so grab your bell. Let's get started. All right, guys, so we're gonna get started by learning how to hold the kettlebell in the suitcase position, like you're holding a suitcase or a bag of groceries by your side. You're gonna stand with your feet hips width distance, so grab your kettlebell and place it down by your side. You're gonna turn your palm forward, externally rotating through your shoulder. Opposite hand is just gonna press down in a fist. And now I want you to hold tension in your entire body like you're in a standing plank. You should feel your obliques fire up, your glutes engage, your feet are pressing firmly into the floor, and you're trying to maintain your tallest posture that you can. Now we're gonna hold for 10 more seconds. Try to avoid leaning over toward the bell. You wanna maintain a symmetrical position. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1, and then just hinge your back to set the kettlebell down, and we're gonna switch sides. All right, so here we go. Place the kettlebell in the opposite hand, stand up nice and tall, other hand is in a fist, brace your abs like you're in a standing plank, and hold. The kettlebell is not touching your legs, so make sure there's a little space between you and your bell, and try to stand as tall as possible, maintaining full body tension. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good, last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hinge your butt back to set the kettlebell down. All right, guys, now we're gonna go over the goblet hold. And this is very common when you go into squats or lunges, or you can do a goblet carry as well. So it's a very useful position with the kettlebell, and we're gonna do some reverse lunges with it, alternating legs. First, I wanna just go over a few things. Grab your kettlebell and bring it up to your chest. You're gonna hold one hand on each side of the bell, wrapping your fingers around and placing your thumb on top of your middle finger. Pull your elbows in toward your rib cage and brace your abs. We wanna feel our lats in this position. So I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see. If I let my elbows flare open to the side, I lose my lat engagement and it goes into my shoulder joint, and that's how I injure myself. So keep your lats engaged by pulling those elbows down and slightly back. You're trying to tuck your triceps in toward your back pocket. Okay, now we're gonna go into some reverse lunges as we hold this goblet position. You're gonna step one leg back. Here we go. Bend into both knees. As you exhale, push and stand, sending your tailbone down toward the floor so you find a posterior pelvic tilt. Now opposite leg back. Exhale, push to stand. Good, just maintaining your lat engagement as best you can. Trying to also create stability in your abdominal wall so you control your descent. We're really trying to focus on the goblet position, trying to maintain it. You're basically frozen like a statue in that goblet hold as your legs are moving through these lunges. 4 more reps. Move with your breath. Don't worry about speed. Worry about the integrity and the quality of your movement. Last 2. And last rep. To set it down, you'll hinge your butt back and release the bell to the floor. Awesome, great job. All right, guys, now we're gonna go over the deadlift, which is a hip hinge pattern. It's very different than a squat, and the deadlift hip hinge is super important for kettlebell training because we use it for cleans, swings, snatches, a lot of different things. So it's very important to make sure you know the basics of the hip hinge pattern, how to engage your lats properly, how to find tension in your hamstrings when you're hinging. So let's get started. Place your kettlebell on the floor, step around it so both feet are in line with the handle, so it's right underneath your center of gravity. Now you want to try to hinge your hips back, keeping your shins vertical so we create a nice length and active stretch in our hamstrings. You're gonna try to keep nice long spine and grab onto the kettlebell. From here, I want you to imagine like you're going to snap the handle in half, or what we call breaking the bar, and that will help pull your lats into engagement. Now take an inhale, brace your abs. As you exhale, you're gonna push down through your feet, stand all the way up, dropping your tailbone down at the top. You're in a standing plank position. Keep your lats engaged, keep breaking the bar. As you hinge your butt back again, find that length in your hamstrings as the kettlebell lowers to the floor. Good, and again, inhale. Exhale, push down through your feet, stand all the way up. Find that posterior tilt at the top, and then find length in your hamstrings as you go down. The further I send my butt back, the more my hamstrings are going to load rather than my lower back, right? We don't want to feel this load in our lumbar spine. So make sure you're loading your hamstrings and finding that active length. Let's do 3 more reps. Just take your time feeling out your hip hinge. Exhale as you stand, push your feet down into the floor. We want that active push. The force production of our feet going down into the floor is what really is going to help us learn how to use that momentum and that push to get the kettlebell off the ground when we clean and snatch and swing. Last rep, exhale. Inhale. Keep your abs braced until you set the kettlebell down, release, and rest. Awesome job. All right, my friends, now we are going into those 3 different skills again as a circuit. So you're gonna follow along with me. We're gonna do the suitcase carry, the reverse lunges with that goblet hold, and the kettlebell deadlift, all right in a row, trying to rest as minimal as possible. Here we go. Grab your kettlebell, put it between your feet, hinge your butt back, and you're gonna take it into your first hand for your suitcase hold. So you're gonna stand up, bring the kettlebell to your side, and we have 20 seconds on the clock. Begin. Here we go. Holding that tension in your body, trying to maintain a little bit of distance between the kettlebell and your leg, and make sure you're bracing your abs as if someone were about to punch you in the gut and you're bracing for the punch. Okay? Keep pushing the opposite fist down. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hinge your butt back to set the kettlebell down. We're gonna switch sides. Here we go. Take an inhale. Exhale, stand with your bell. Get it into position and hold. 20 seconds on the clock. Just try to maintain your full body engagement as you brace and hold the position. The heavier your kettlebell is, obviously, the more tempting it would be to lean to one side with your T-spine to compensate for the weight. Try not to do that. Here we go. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hinge your butt back, set the kettlebell down. Good. All right, just take a few breaths. Next, we have the reverse lunges with the goblet hold. So again, you're gonna pick up your bell, change your hold into your goblet position, pull those elbows in toward your rib cage, engage those lats. We have 10 reps. Here we go, alternating legs, and begin. Step 1 foot back, exhale, push to stand, and switch. Try to find that posterior pelvic tilt. Maintain your core stability. Maintain your lat engagement. We have 6 more reps. And try to load your front leg's glute by finding just a little hip hinge in your lunge. Most of your weight will stay in your front leg, so that way you can easily push to stand. Good. 2 more reps, guys. Here we go. Last one. Good. Hinge your butt back to set the kettlebell back down. Take a few breaths, and then we have the deadlift, okay? So you're gonna set up with your feet around your kettlebell. They can be a little bit wider than your hips width distance. Start to bend and hinge at your hips, coming down into your bottom position. Grab your kettlebell, lengthen through your spine, break the bar, pull tension into your abdominal wall. Take your inhale, exhale, push to stand. Inhale, and keep that tension in your lats as you lower down. Good, we have 9 more reps. Make sure that your hip hinge looks different than your squat, guys. Notice how my shins are staying vertical. Notice that I have just a little slight bend in the knees. You should and want to feel this in your hamstrings and glutes. That's where we're trying to load our body. So find that active length and try to keep your abdominal wall supporting your spine as you hinge over and as you stand. We have 4 more reps here. Keep raking the bar. Make sure those shoulders aren't reaching up toward your ears. Good, guys. Just 2 more reps. You got it. Last one. Good. Complete your rep by bringing the kettlebell all the way back down. Set it down and release. Awesome job. Sweet. Next, we're going to move on to the rack position, learning that and learning how to clean your kettlebell. Get a sip of water and then let's get to it. So now we are going to move on to the rack position, which is where you can go into a lot of things. So it's super important to learn your rack position, know how to move into it safely, and make sure you're engaging properly. So we're going to go over the rack position really quick, and then we're going to get into an assisted kettlebell clean. All right, so put your kettlebell down in between your feet and turn the handle so it is perpendicular to your feet, so it's horizontal in line with your ankles. Okay, you're going to start with your dominant arm. For me, my left arm is my dominant side, so I'm going to hinge over. Go ahead and hinge with me. You're going to grab onto the kettlebell, and I want you to stand up, and as you stand up, you're going to use your opposite hand to help assist the kettlebell over your forearm. Now that's very similar to the assisted clean we're going to do in a few minutes, but we're just going to practice holding this rack position right now. I want you to make sure that your knuckles are reaching up toward the ceiling so your wrist stays nice and straight. Your elbows pulling in, just like we had for the Goblet Hold, so we engage our lat. We don't want the elbow flaring out to the side. You'll see a lot of people do their rack position like this. This is putting unnecessary stress on your shoulder joint. Pull your elbow in toward your body. It's almost like a vertical line. You're creating a support system for yourself with your elbow more underneath your wrist. Now the kettlebell is touching the back of my forearm. The bell is touching my bicep, and the handle is also touching my pec. And I want to pull that in, hug it into my body so that I have a strong supported rack position, and that is how you rack. Now to take it down, let's just take the opposite hand and assist the bell all the way back to the floor. Let's try it on the other side, okay? So get into your hip hinge. Other arm is going to grab around the handle. You're going to pull it up as you stand and use your opposite hand to assist the bell onto your forearm. Make sure the handle's touching your pec, your bicep is connected with the bell, and it's also resting on the back of your forearm. Make sure that you keep that wrist nice and straight. If you let the wrist bend back into extension, it's going to put a lot of weight onto your forearm. So push that wrist nice and straight, knuckles are reaching up and out. Okay, hug that elbow in, find your lat, and this is your rack position on your second side. Good, just hold it for another breath, and then use your opposite hand to help bring the kettlebell back down. Nice, so now you're familiar with the rack position. If you need to, pause for a few moments, rewind, go back, listen to my cueing again, just so you get really familiar with it. Now we're going to go into some assisted cleans. Now that you're familiar with the rack position, we are going to work on the assisted clean. So the clean is bringing the kettlebell up from the floor into your rack position. Normally we don't use the second hand to help, but this is a regression of it so you can learn how to safely clean your bell without it flopping up and over onto your forearm and causing bruising. It's just unnecessary. You don't really need to do that. We can safely spiral the kettlebell around, keeping it close to our body, and it will safely just find its little nesting place in your rack position without any bruising. Okay, so this is how you learn it. You use the assisted variation first, and then we'll progress to unassisted. So go ahead and get into your hip hinge. It's very similar to how we did the rack position earlier, only you're just going to pull the bell from the floor a little faster. So as I stand, I'm pushing my feet down into the floor, and I'm going to pull up, use my other hand to assist the kettlebell onto my forearm, hold for a breath. And now we're gonna do unassisted on the way down. So I'm gonna think about it like a spiral staircase and let the kettlebell spiral back down to the floor. Good. And notice how my opposite thumb is facing toward my opposite ankle, right? So the thumb that is holding the kettlebell is facing toward the opposite ankle. Let's do that again. Take an inhale. Find tension in your position here in your hinge. Push down through your feet. Pull the kettlebell up. Use the opposite hand to assist. Find your rack position nice and tight. Take a breath. And now let it spiral down like a spiral staircase as you hinge your butt back. Let's do it one more time. Take an inhale. Exhale, push into the floor. Kettlebell comes up smoothly around. Good. Hold for a breath. And let it spiral down. Awesome. Now let's just try it on the other arm. I'm just gonna turn. Here we go. So still assisted, we'll do 3 reps again. And just know that you can assist with that opposite hand as little or as much as needed, just really using that hand to help the kettlebell up. All right, get into your hip hinge. Take a moment to lengthen through your spine. You're gonna take an inhale. Exhale, push down through your feet. Bring the kettlebell up using your opposite hand to assist. Elbow is pulled in nice and tight in that rack position. And now let it spiral down as your hips go back. Bring it to the floor. Good. Take an inhale. And again, exhale, stand. Assist it up. Find that rack position. Raise your abs here at the top. Let it spiral down. Good. One more time. Take an inhale. Exhale. Other hand comes up with the bell. Hold for a breath. And let it spiral down. Good. And now rest. I recommend going through those, at least 2 more sets of 3 on each side. Really make sure you feel comfortable with that before you move on to the unassisted cleans. All right, my friends, now we are gonna work on the unassisted kettlebell clean. So this is going to require a little bit more force production into the floor with your feet, and you have to really use that the momentum of your hips extending to bring the kettlebell up. We don't need to pull really hard and fast unless you're using a very heavy bell. You don't want to really actually pull hard with your arm. The kettlebell clean is efficient and it's safe because we're working from the hips, okay? So now you're not going to use your opposite hand. You're going to pull the kettlebell close to your body, find the rack position, hold for a breath, and then let it spiral down. We're going to repeat for 5 reps and then we'll change sides. Here we go. Get into your hip hinge. Place your hand on the bell. Lengthen through your spine. Take an inhale. Press down through your feet. And clean it up. Good. Notice how it just spiraled around my arm. I found that rack position nice and tight. And now let it spiral back down. Good. 4 more reps here. Inhale. Exhale. And set it down. 3 more. Take your time to make sure you're finding that push into the floor. Inhale, push down through the feet, and release it down. Last 2, inhale. Good. Last rep, inhale. And let it spiral down. Nice. Now we're gonna go to the other side. And just a reminder, the main motion of the kettlebell clean is pull to rack. We're not doing a weird looping arm around the body, right? You'll see that often when people are cleaning because they're trying to make it go around their body and not slam down on their arm. But the best way to do that is just be efficient, get it right to the rack position. Think floor position, rack position. That's all you need. Okay, get to your second side. Place the kettlebell between your feet. And here we go. Hip hinge, take an inhale. And exhale, bring it up to your rack. Tighten at the top, let it spiral down. And again, exhale. Notice how the bell stays close to my body. As I pull it up, it's staying close because I'm pulling it right into my rack position. 2 more, inhale. Good, last rep, inhale. Exhale. Awesome, set it down. And rest. All right, guys, awesome job. Let me know if you had any questions about the skills that we covered today. Again, we want to go slow and controlled. We want to take our time to really learn how to use the kettlebell properly so that way we avoid injury. And I hope that you enjoyed this class. Look out for more kettlebell technique and kettlebell tutorials coming soon on the Iron Mobility Fitness channel. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.